Welcome, this video is going to introduce you to our first 3D command, and that be the Extrude tool. Before modeling, observe the object or drawing carefully that you want to go through and model, and ask yourself, I guess, these three questions. Number one, what face or side has the most detail? And go through and sketch that first to make the applying those 3D commands, Extrude, a little bit easier. Number two, what 3D command may I need to apply? So if it's predominantly a rectangular prism or a cylinder, the Extrude is going to be the best command for you. And three, if it's a real object, how might have it been manufactured? So look for seams, as this would suggest it's been molded in two different molds and then joined together. Otherwise, are there any joints? And that might assist with how to go through and model it in using different bodies or different 3D forms. So what we want to go through and do is create something similar to this. And we're going to start off with a sketch. So go through and create a sketch. And if you're unsure of how to go through and create sketches, check out the sketch videos in this playlist. Otherwise, you might use this document, which will be available in the video description. So what we want to go through and do is apply our first extrude. And to go through and create an extrude, it's just this little icon under the solid tab. And we've got a really clear visual there, and the hotkey is E. And so first of all, we're going to create a cube. So I'm just zooming across, and we've got our extrude palette appearing here. So the profile, remember profiles are shapes. Is a shape we want to be using. And we're just going to go down to distance and create as 40 because the length and width was 40. And notice the only other thing we really want to focus on this time round is the operation. It's creating it as a new body. So if we look over in our browser, we've only got origin and sketches, and selecting OK, now we have bodies. So bodies are anything that's three-dimensional, and we can toggle that on and off. You might have noticed our sketches disappeared, which is a bit of an annoying feature in Fusion, but if we just expand our sketch, we'll be able to toggle that back on and make it visible. Also notice down in our feature tree, we have the original sketch, and now we have the body. And so this will gradually, our feature tree will gradually become larger with the additional extrudes or other features that we're applying. And if I right click on it, I can quickly go through and edit it. Any 3D command will become a feature. Next up, we're going to add some additional extrudes. So this one we're going to turn into a cylinder. And you might have noticed in Fusion, we have an extrude and we have a push-pull, or sorry, press-pull. And they appear very similar. So let's just quickly go over what the difference is. In this case, I'm going to go press-pull and select, and notice I've got press-pull selected here. And now I'm selecting that, and it's actually changed to an extrude. So a press-pull is just a little bit more flexible, a little bit more intuitive, and so it automatically chooses the right action based upon what you're selecting. So sometimes it'll be an extrude, sometimes it might be a fillet or an offset based upon what you're selecting. And so we're going to go through and create a distance once again of 20 mil, and we'll leave the rest of that detail the same. And it's creating a new body. So now we have our two bodies here. Next thing we want to go through and do is apply a cone to the top of our cylinder. So I'm going to go back to extrude. I'm going to be selecting the top face, so I can select objects, I can select faces, I can select origin points, I can select other objects. And so I'm selecting that face as the profile. We'll make it 20 mil once again. And this time I want to taper that angle. So I want that to, you can either turn this in or you can specify 45 degrees. And then what I want to do is actually make this a new body once again, because potentially we want the bottom half of it a different color to the top half. If we have it as a join, it's going to be the same body the whole time. And so therefore, when we start applying colors to it or materials, it's going to be all the same. And then be selecting OK. Now what we want to do is apply a hole through our cube. So I'm going to go to create sketch, and creating a sketch on that face. And notice our body is in the way. So what we can do is just turn those off by maximizing that. And so therefore we'll quickly create just a quick little circle, square. Go back to isometric view, finish that sketch, and go back to extrude once again. Now this time I want to select the profile, and if I extrude it out, it's creating as a join. If I push it in, notice it's creating a cut. So wherever it highlights red, that's just indicating it's cutting away the material. And so if I want to put a hole way through it, I can just push it all the way through, and Fusion's going to understand that we've applied that cut. And I'll turn those bodies back on. So sometimes you'll want to be toggling the bodies on and off depending upon, and potentially also the sketches, just to make it a little bit more easy to manage your drawing board. Next up, let's go through and create another extrude, selecting multiple. And what we can do is change the offset. So we might want to change that so it's starting to draw, and I'll show it here. So we can see it's appearing above the workspace, and then new body. And then I'll extrude once again that small little portion, and let's say 40 once again. And what we can also do is go intersecting is another option. Probably won't use it as much as some of the other forms. And this time we might want to go starting from a certain object. And so therefore it's removed that bottom section because I've specified that it's starting at the bottom of that object, and selecting OK. Last of all, another extrude. And with this extrude, we want the direction to be in two-sided. So above and below, let's go 30. And so we can specify where on the artboard or where on the profile it's drawing in terms of the distance, two-sided, single-sided, symmetrical, and then selecting a new body and going OK. The last thing we might just touch upon is adding fillets. Oops. Try again. A fillet to apply rounded edges, curved edges, and the other option is a chamfer, which more of a beveled edge. That's a quick introduction to the extrude tool. Thanks.